Hello again, dear listener, fellow traveler, and welcome to Raven Insight. I am Lyons, your host for this channel and a fellow traveler on this adventure, this journey to self-discovery, higher consciousness, enlightenment, and just dealing with everyday life, burnout, people in general. Welcome again to my channel for my subscribers and my returning viewers, and to anyone who is new here, welcome. Everyone is welcome. I'm happy to have you here. I've been looking forward to talking with you all today. It's been a little hard for me to get out and actually get this video shot. It always seems like life is very busy and uses a lot of your time. It's also pretty windy right now, so forgive my hair going all over the place, but I wanted to be out in nature again, let you see my maple friend rather than be in the garage as much as possible. Now, I know from my previous posts that I ramble a lot and it takes me a while to get into the topic du jour, so I'm going to try to improve that today by cutting right to the point and talk about today's topic, which is on internet comments. Yes, the road to higher enlightenment goes through many strange places, and one of them surely is the internet and the comments section of the internet. So why did I want to talk about this one today? It's a bit of a departure, I guess, from my overall, theme and discussion to this point, but it's because it's something that affected me personally recently, and it was a teachable moment. And it's funny, when I did this channel again, I started doing it. I didn't really have a vision in mind. I just started talking about the things that I was thinking about, and I just kind of went with it. And there's always part of you when you do stuff on YouTube or social media, you're considering, well, is this going to be like a money maker? Life is telling me to do this, but I have needs in my life. And though I know, like, the old me would be like focused on productivity and hard answers and resumes out and doing these things, so much of me is drawn in this direction, and I'm really putting my energies here. So there's a conflicted part of yourself that's always asking you why you're doing that. And what I've learned in this process of doing this is it's not really so much the money or the publicity, but what it's really, you're seeing a part of my journey. You're seeing an inherent and important part of what I am going through. I have so many fears inside of me, and by telling you and by standing here in front of the world and saying, this is what I'm hiding behind closed doors, and I open it up to you, it really it takes all that power away, because I no longer have to hide that part of me. I no longer have to hide that part of my shadow from you or from the world, and therefore I'm incorporating it, right? But because I sit here and I talk in front of you every day, I've got to hold myself accountable to talk the talk and walk the walk. So if I tell you to do something, or suggest, because I'm not one into telling, I'm more into suggesting, but if I put something out there, I better live it, okay? I'm not going to say something and then not live it, because that would make me a hypocrite. And it's really funny with the journey, right? When you're going through these life experiences, as you improve and as you move more towards an enlightened state, that ego keeps creeping back in, and it keeps like, but what about me? But what about me? But what about me? And all the habits, they come back in and it tests you. It's just like a video game. You've passed level 3, you're up to level 4. Well, now the boss to level 5 creeps back, right? And level 5 boss is just level 2 boss, but he's wearing red instead of blue. It's the same thing you saw before in a different state, attacking you a different way. And that's life, the universe, and everything stress testing you a little bit to see, hey, have you got the message? So internet comments, right? Like, we see them all the time. I'm always begging for them. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you like my channel, hit that like button. It helps engagement. If you want to hear more, hit subscribe and comment down below so we can get a conversation going. But once I open that door up to comments, Lord knows what people are going to say. And I've been very fortunate on this channel that people have been really positive. I haven't had too much comments or very much interaction and feedback, but what I have had has been positive, and I'm very grateful, and thank you for coming into my space and treating me with kindness. I really appreciate it, because we can all be so mean to each other on the internet. The internet has created this thing, and we're feeling it, and we're seeing this in social media. We're seeing this, like, especially like on Facebook, probably the worst. I guess maybe Twitter and TikTok or wherever it creeps up. But people feel safe at home behind this screen of glass, where they feel protected, that no one can really hurt them. No one's going to shoot them, stab them, punch them, hurt them. So when they see something out in the world, they will feel liberated to pound at it aggressively, you know. And it could be something small, it could be something innocuous, it could be something that gets under their skin, and then they just feel the need to say something about it. Now, obviously, if you're on Facebook at all, you see it all the time. And it's impossible to say anything on Facebook without having half the people come after you. And especially political stuff or religious stuff in the environment that we're in now. I work very hard to stay away from political stuff, because I want everyone who hears my message to be able to embrace this in their own way. And I don't want my political opinions to skew you on your path to your own higher development. So I really try hard. I probably fail, because I am somewhat of a liberal person, empathetic person. I see things in the government that really bother me right now, but that's not the purpose of this channel, and I take the conscious effort to avoid it. But your uncle who's going to show up at Thanksgiving and who's like power hitting Fox News, he's going to say whatever's on his mind. Whether you agree with it or not, he's going to feel empowered to say what's on his mind in your face, whether you like it or not. And that's throwing out a lot of negative energy, okay? So that's obvious. And that's obvious where people are throwing these negative energies out. Cha. And when that happens, we automatically become defensive. That's easy enough to see. But actually, the internet comment that I'm talking about was even more innocuous than that. And it really speaks to the problems that I have within my own ego. So what happened was, I went on a guitar lessons forum, and I like to go there, find lessons and stuff, but I'm kind of more advanced, so I found out it was more of a beginner forum. But I hung out there to, like, give my 2 cents here and there. I've played for 40 years the guitar. I went to music school for a while. I mean, I didn't go 4 years, but I went for a while, and like, I understand basic music theory. I understand how to play a piano. I can do hand percussion. I can fool around on a drum kit, but I'm a guitarist. I used to also play saxophone. I understand music. I can read music. I understand jazz theory. I understand modes. I understand the circle of fifths. I understand it. I use jazz modes when I solo on guitar. You know, it's like I've done this a lot over the years. So anyways, this guy was asking a question about, he was a newbie, he had learned scales, but he was wondering how to apply them. So I made an answer as to how I use and apply modes and scales, and put it in there. And whatever, I was just trying to throw the guy a bone, because like literally nobody else at this point had commented on the threads yet. So I was like, here's what I would say. I was trying to share my knowledge, share some love with the world, and say, here's what I've garnered, here's what I've learned. I wasn't doing it out of a place of ego. I was saying, I too was once a struggling guitarist. I too once went through all of this, and I wish someone would have told me this. So I told them my thing, but I had to pick the kids up from school. I was halfway through the message, and I had to jump in the car, So I probably could have been more specific. I probably could have worded it better. I probably could have linked to reference material. I probably could have articulated myself better. I own that. We all text fast. We all make mistakes. We all have typos. We're all becoming victims of autocorrect from time to time, right? It happens. But what I was saying was a little vague, but it wasn't inherently incorrect. Go about my day, mind my own business. Felt good about helping the world. And see, like, that's the thing about internet comments. Why do we comment ourselves? Because we want connection. We don't want to punch people in the face. We want to bring them to us. We're lonely. We're lonely. We're lonely. We're lonely. We're lonely. We don't have any more third spaces in the world. You can't go somewhere without driving a car to get there. You can't just walk down to your neighborhood square and run into your neighbors. There's no like soda shop to hang out and loiter in all day where they're just cool with that. There's nowhere you can go and just exist without spending money. So what do? We all spend our time at home. And to replace that social connection, the methadone of social connection is social media. And so then we go on social media. We feel like we want to make a connection. But a lot of times we're hurt, we're bitter, we're broken, we're angry inside. So what comes out of us, the commentary we make, is negative, and we want it to hurt someone else, because even if it's hurtful, you're making a connection. It's a painful connection, but by God, it's a connection. So it fixes the loneliness. So I think a lot of us are inherently negative. And so I make this comment and mind my own business, and like the next day, someone's like, this is how an amateur would understand it. This is completely wrong. What you're saying is stupid. You would use this chord and this chord and this chord, and since they all have the same notes and they're just in a different order, you would have to play this much of the scale to get the proper sound intonation to know that it was implying a minor versus a major, and you're just fucking wrong. What are you fucking talking about? And I'm like, okay, man, you do you. Like, what he was saying was not incorrect, but what he was saying wasn't really contra to what I said. He was just reiterating what I was saying, stuff that I had just kind of implied in my own mind because it was second nature and I did the comment quickly. He spelled out, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But what was I going to do? Come back and go, yeah, that's what I was saying, man. Like, what is that? And I find, especially in musician communities and especially in guitar communities, everyone is just loaded on ego. They're loaded on ego. Like the guy who responded to me, he wasn't doing it to be good-natured and help the guy who asked the original question. He didn't say, oh, I've taken the time to understand this comment, because I sought to understand. And in seeking to understand, I see what he's saying. But just to clarify, it would be more effective if you did this. To which I would have said, yeah, I was in a rush, but what he's saying is right. And I would have just agreed with the guy, because what he was saying was right. And I didn't really see it as contrapositive to what I was saying. But you know what? He threw so much negativity at me. He didn't earn that respect as far as I was concerned. He didn't earn that connection because he didn't want to connect with me. And in the past, quite honestly, I would have been a kind of a guy and told him to go off. But I'm trying to be more centered and a better human being. So my approach was simply, okay, man, you do you. You play it the way you want to. I'll play it the way I want to. And that's the cool thing about the guitar, is there's many different approaches to get to the same place. And just left it at that. Because I wasn't going to argue. I was going to acknowledge. And I was going to say, okay. And so I went about my day. Later, another guy comes on. And he's like, you are an idiot. What are you talking about? This guy knows nothing about what he's talking about. And he starts just ripping on me. The funny thing is, he again, in different words, was reiterating what I had said in the first place. So again, a guy's coming at me with that ego. Ha! and he's just ready to fight, but he didn't seek to understand, and he was saying what I said in different words. But he had to be right. He had to be right. He had to be heard. And he had to have the world hear that he was right. And then another guy goes, well, screw you, buddy, and starts screaming at that guy, the second guy. And the guy's like, what are you talking about? And they start arguing with each other, and they start arguing with each other about the same thing. And then the one guy goes, wait. I thought you were saying this. And the guy's like, no, I was talking to this guy over here. And that guy's like, oh, I was trying to yell at this guy over here over his comment. I didn't see your parent comment. And they're like, oh, I was just expecting to fight. So I just thought that that's what was going on. Well, aren't we a couple of fools? Well, I guess I'm going to bed. Good night, everybody. And I didn't even touch that. So just to recap, two guys started arguing with each other, thinking that they were arguing with me about something that they agreed with me with. All because I tried to share my knowledge about something that I used to care about. But you know what? Like I've told you here before, I wanted to be a rock and roll star back in the day, but that wasn't my destiny. That wasn't my dream. That's one I borrowed from someone else so that I could feed my ego. So after that experience and seeing how these people work and seeing the toxicity of their community, I just left. I left the forum. And I feel bad for any new guitarists who want to reach out to kind people who would help them. But I'm not gonna intentionally stay in a place that is that toxic, where you're trying to help new beginning guitarists learn how to play a guitar. And you have people who've played for 20 years telling you how stupid and wrong you are after you played for 40. You know? It's ridiculous. So again, why am I bringing this up? Because it hurt me, and it was one of those challenges to my own spiritual quest, because it hurt me. And then it was one of those teachable moments, right, that I could then just sit in. And I was like, okay, now in the past I would flame this guy, I would just try to clarify myself. One, I would feel that I wasn't heard. I would feel that all the work that I had done, because it wasn't articulated well, didn't have any value. And that what I did know was wrong because of someone's opinion who wasn't trying to take the time to listen to me. So if you take other people's understandings and opinions of you as your truth, you're going to have a bad time. And a lot of it, again, goes to this energy exchange, right? Like, those guys could have, like, simply offered this information to the original poster, but they didn't want to do that. They wanted to spend their energies looking for someone who said something wrong so that they could disagree with it, so that they could show how much smarter they are. I forget what the principle is called. I should have looked it up before. I meant to. But there's a principle where on the internet, if you want the correct answer to something, don't ask a question, make an incorrect statement, and people will come on to correct you. There's a term for it. My apologies, I forget. But it's true. They had the activation energy to be combative rather than be supportive. Why? Because they weren't coming from a place of love and giving and information sharing. They weren't wanting to spread the word of the divine and to be able to embrace and engage and come into a deeper level of music to make magic and art. No. They wanted the ego fed, and the ego needs power and energy and dominance. So they just want to take what they know, use it as a weapon, and say that you're wrong. Okay, so what's the teachable moment? How do we deal with this? One, everybody chill out, okay? Before you post on the internet, will you all be a little kinder to each other? Pretend like you're in the same room. I believe it was the great philosopher Mike Tyson who said, a lot of people are getting pretty comfortable saying stuff online that would get you punched in the face in real life. I'm paraphrasing, but to that extent. And I got to agree with the man. People feel the safety, and in the safety, they have this anger building up inside of them, and they're just spewing out toxicity into the internet. And other people are absorbing it, and they're taking it personally, and it's causing everyone to have a bad day. And the worst part about it is they might not even be real people. If you don't know by now, and this might blow your absolute mind, but there are people on the internet who are not real. You can look up things like the dead internet theory. Half the internet, if not 75% of it's fake and dead at this point. Facts. A lot of the discontent on like Twitter and Tumblr and Reddit and like Facebook and all these different social media sites is actually being caused by Russian troll farms and troll bots. And, you know, I'm sure Chinese and Iran have like, you know, groups as well, hacker collectives who are going out and either using AI bots, simple scripted chat bots, or just a bunch of like decent English speaking people in a room going in, creating lives, creating profiles, creating accounts just to push agendas. They'll have 10 accounts where they'll say something, and their 9 accounts will agree with them just to isolate you out and put your noise out. So remember, everything on the internet's a lie. Everything on the internet's a lie. Everything on the internet is a lie. Even this, in some regard, is a lie. Because I can only give you a sense of the truth. Only you can find your pure truth. So don't even believe me. If that's what it comes down to, if the level of skepticism required in you to find your own inner peace is to stop believing me, then by all means do it right away. But do not believe and do not take to heart all the nonsense on the internet, because so much of it's fake, so much of it's astroturf, and so much of it is designed not only to drive engagement. And what drives engagement? Anger. Happiness doesn't drive engagement. That's why the news isn't Happy Kitty was saved from tree today. No one cares. They want to see, 20 people were beat in the back of the head and thrown in a van. That's what people want to see. They want to see war. They want to see death. They want, the news is always like, there's a pill that is toxic and it might be in your medicine cabinet right now. Tune in at 11 to find out what it is. And people are like, I gotta fucking tune in. Sorry again, YouTube. I gotta tune in and find out what that is. Right? But it's the fear. It's the anger. That's what drives engagement. That's why, people have done tests even on YouTube, and they find that if you come in blank and you engage with shorts and shorts only, after a while you're going to end up in the right-wing blogosphere, because the anger that particular space generates is very enticing. It's very interactive, and the algorithm knows it, and it brings people in. So remember, you're being manipulated by algorithms all the time. You're being manipulated by bots all the time. You're being manipulated by foreign entities all the time. And you're being manipulated by your friends and your family and people who are dissatisfied in their own life, have their own demons that they're not able to deal with, that they aren't able to put a name to or articulate, and they're struggling. And rather than do the work, the hard work like we're doing here, the kind of work that puts you alone, crying, or eating like Milano cookies in the shower at 2 a.m. because it happens, and you're going to be tired and you're going to be broken, because the spiritual journey requires you to feel the pain. It requires you to go through it. And a lot of people in this world, they're just NPCs, they're just bots, they're just extras who are never going to take that opportunity. But what they will do is feed that ego, and they will feed that ego with anger. So that's really all I had for you today. I just want to put that perspective out there, that even those of us who are maybe a little further down the journey than others still struggle, still get tested. And it's these little innocuous things that the universe loves to trip us up with. But also remember, it's about energy. And where's your energy coming from when you comment? Is it about love? Is it about cooperation? Is it making people better? Is it about raising people up? Or are you lashing out to bring people down? And you can't fight fire with fire. That's ridiculous. You fight fire with water. Duh. You're just going to have a bigger fire. So stop. Stop throwing more fire on it. You know, you want to disarm someone, you just tell them that you love them. You tell them that you hear them. You see that they're hurting. And you wish you could help them. I mean, someone's coming at you all hot and heavy and be like, dude, sounds like you're having a bad day. Is there anything I can do for you right now? Disarms them. If you come back at them with the same energy in their face, they're not going to like it, right? And you wouldn't like that either, okay? Kindness, love, community, and peace. Peace within yourself. And get off the internet. It's not healthy for you. Go out with friends. Sit in the same room. Put the phone down. Throw on a movie. You know, play some video games together. Remember LAN parties from years ago? Get in the same room. Get off the screen. Talk to each other. You know? Well, anyways, that's all I had. Internet comments, don't take them so seriously. Chill out. Stop flaming people. And other than that, I hope you come back for more of my crazy wisdom and wild hair. But other than that, I hope you have a great day. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time here on Raven Insight. Again, I'm Lyons. Have a wonderful day. I love you all.